one that included the rookie quarterback being sacked 9 times. Matt Nagy received a lot of criticism for his game plan and play calls for Fields, and he's taking some responsibility for that rough outing. Take a listen.
He's going to have a lot of different games in his career, and that one was a rough one, and I put that on me. That's on me for why that went that way, and I got to learn from that, and we got to learn from that. But I think we have some answers, which is good.
Did you decide who's going to be the play caller on Sunday?
We've had some amazing, healthy conversations between coaches and coaches, between coaches and players. I want to keep that internal. The criticism's fair. I go back to the game. You got to move on, but you also got to accept it. That's what I'm going to do moving forward.
Stephen A., should Fields be the starter for Chicago?
No, but not because of him and his talent. I think that he's the future, and you've got to save him. You got to save him from Nagy. You've got to save him from ineptitude. You've got to save him from deficiencies that have not been resolved as of yet. And listen, Matt Nagy told you that he's having conversations, things are fruitful and helpful with his coaching staff and stuff like that. And I get that because things transpire during the game, during the season, and we get that. But it just get the impression listening to him that it's almost like he's playing catch up. Like the things that he's figuring out now, he should have known coming into the season. You should have known from the moment you drafted this kid. And I think that what you're seeing right now, listen, when you got an Allen Robinson, when you got a Darnell Mooney, when you got the Montgomerys of the world, and Damian Williams in the backfield, you've got enough weapons, okay? And back in the day, he had these guys, and he had Tyreek Cohen when you had Mitchell Trubisky there, and still there was inefficiency. And I think that that's problematic. But where it really, really resonates with me, the defense is legit.
Yeah.
The defense could do some things. And when they get exposed, it's usually because of fatigue. Because you got them out there, because you got a whole bunch of 3 and outs, you're not moving the chains, they're spending too much time on the field. They're not being protected in any way. The defense has been thrown out to pasture because of the inefficiency of an offense. And I've religiously said this, Dan Orlovsky, and I'm very, very big on this. What is your signature? Why do you have the job that you have? Okay? If Dan Orlovsky is breaking down tapes all the time and telling you what's going on the football field, and then all of a sudden come on ESPN and can't use the big board, can't sit up there and use the telestrator, can't break down anything, we got a damn problem.
Right.
Okay? I love the fact, listen, I've been a reporter for close to 30 years, and I've had to cover everything. And I can talk about almost everything. But damn it, basketball's my thing. It's my passion, it's my love, and it's the number one reason I'm on this network, okay? I can't forget that when it comes time to show up on television. I don't want to talk about basketball. Ask me about hockey. Ask me about NASCAR. Ask me about college football. What are you, on drugs? I can't do that because what you are and what got you to where you are matters. Matt Nagy was an offensive coordinator, and his offense is second to last in the NFL. And that's 2 years removed from being 29th. It's inexcusable, and somebody has to say so.
Justin Fields should be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears, unless Matt Nagy is going to continue to press that his scheme should be the star. That's the issue in Chicago in reality. Matt Nagy wants the offensive system to be the star. Now, there are some schemes in the NFL that are like that. San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan's scheme is the star. Plug and play. You could put quarterbacks in there, they'll play well. You could put backs in there, they'll play well. What he does is he takes talent and the scheme elevates that talent. What Matt Nagy's system is doing with Justin Fields is decreasing his talent. So just individualized player-wise, it's not a question. Justin Fields should be out there. But if Matt Nagy is not going to adjust or continue to be the play caller or the play designer, then Justin Fields should not be on the football field. And that needs to come from the top of the organization. Stephen A., you touched on something that I think is spot on. When you said it's like he's playing from behind. There's really 3 types of coaches in any level, but really football-wise. There's the coach who can go watch the game the day after it's played and go, this is what I didn't do well. This is the things that I should have done, or these are the things that I should have changed. Then there's the coach who can go in at halftime and be like, all right, what are the adjustments that we have to make per what the defense is doing to us? And then there's the coach that after a play or a drive or two, they're like, I got exactly what we got to do. And Matt Nagy is the first one. He's the coach that sits there the day after the game that watches the tape and he's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should have used his athleticism more. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should have not stressed our offensive line. And that's a problem. And that's exactly what you're pointing out is how did you not know this stuff? So if you're going to continue on that thought process of do and then look at things rather than kind of being proactive, then no, don't play Justin Fields. Don't play Justin Fields because, Molly, I kind of mentioned this early on. If you look at the young quarterbacks in the NFL that we thought had talent, that got ruined, one of the main reasons they were failures is because doubt became a very real thing. That they were put into these terrible situations and they started to think, well, maybe I wasn't a top 5 pick. Or maybe I can't play. Or maybe I'm not that. Now, listen, some guys, they can't handle the NFL or they're physically not talented. But the Bears need to be very cautious right here as an organization because they invested all that money and draft capital of how they handle this situation. And that's why I think it's clear that if they are going to get to a point where it's Matt Nagy or Justin Fields, the organization has to choose Justin Fields. It has to, or Justin Fields should choose his future.
Let me say this real quickly. When you on that field, to Dan's point, when you on that field, and again, I wasn't on there, but covering the sport, I know what players tell me.
Yeah.
When you on that field, those players ain't telling you, yo, man, the coach got you in a bad spot. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, man, the coach is the coach's fault. They telling you you can't play.
Right.
They telling you you ain't ready.
Right.
They telling you, bro, you in over your head.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to demoralize you. That's what they're trying to do, to take your heart.
Break
not
you
just,
down to
not
build
just,
you up.
Not just play better than you.
Listen, faith without doubting, something we're all aspiring for. The highly touted rookie quarterback class is off to a slow start this season. All have started a game except for Trey Lance. Now, Mac Jones is the only one to win a game, and he did so against fellow rookie Zach Wilson. Dan, why are these rookie quarterbacks struggling so much?
Well, number one, it's really, really hard to play quarterback in the NFL. You know, there's 32 of them on the planet, and there's 10 great ones. You know, so that's the reality. If you look at Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson's interceptions, I think they've thrown 11 interceptions or 12 interceptions between the two of them. 10 of those interceptions have come on when coverage is just being real soft, Molly. What I'm trying to say is these defenses in the NFL are daring these incredibly athletic, electric, fun to watch, jaw-dropping quarterbacks. They're daring them to play boring football. They're daring them to do the non-flashy stuff. And that's why some of these guys that they grow up in this world of 7-on-7 football, and it's chuck and duck, and it's so much fun, and it's awesome. It's awesome. They're daring them to do things that guys like that I could do. I could drop 7 steps and throw a check down. That's why I was a 5th-round draft pick, because I couldn't do the things that they did. So I think that's the first thing is they are getting challenged to do boring football, and they've been trained not to do that. And it's very rare. What was the last quarterback that we saw get drafted in the top 5 have a really good rookie season? Joe Burrow was on his way. Cam Newton, maybe. Baker Mayfield had half of a season. Andrew Luck. It's hard when you're playing on bad football teams.
Let me tell you something right now. When I look at these rookie quarterbacks, I think Mac Jones is going to be just fine. Mm-hmm. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be just fine the second you get some players around him. He's got to stop taking chances, but he clearly has a belief, a moxie about himself and his game, Dan, that I like. Like, I didn't like how the flea flicker went wrong. He threw it off the back foot, lobbed in an interception to Murphy for the Cardinals that was returned for a pick 6. I didn't like that. But he did some good things against Arizona. And throughout the season thus far, he's done good things in every game. You just see the mistakes that you know he's going to grow from. All right? We haven't seen much from Trey Lance as of yet. We get all of that. Justin Fields got Matt Nagy as an impediment to his success, at least at this particular moment in time. Zach Wilson for the New York Jets is an entirely different matter. Okay. He looks awful. He really, really does. He makes you say the Jets should have held on to Sam Darnold. Maybe draft him and hold on to him and let him sit on a bench for a year or two.
Well, part of that's because Sam Darnold's looks so good.
Yeah, well, you can say that, but I'm just telling you Zach Wilson looks bad. And Dan's smiling because he knows I'm telling the truth here. There's a difference between the way Zach Wilson looks and the rest of them looks. You start thinking, I don't want to cast aspersions on Zach Wilson, say he can't play. I never saw him. You understand what I'm saying? I watched a little tape on him, but I never saw him like Dan did and Mel Kiper and Todd McShay and others. No, I didn't do that. I'm not going to do that to the kid, all right? I wish him nothing but the best. What I'm saying is it also could be Robert Salah because you're a defensive coordinator, and a lot of times defensive-minded coaches struggle putting forth a solid offensive unit because they struggle putting forward assembling the right offensive staff. I don't know the answer to that question, Dan. I don't pretend to. What I'm telling you is this. I test. When I see Trevor Lawrence, even when he makes mistakes, I'm still impressed because I understand it's just decisions. But that brother got the vision, goes through his progressions, could throw that football. He can make all the requisite throws. I see the athleticism in Trey Lance. I believe in Justin Fields. Look at Mac Jones. I'm happy that he's in New England with Bill Belichick and obviously Josh McDaniel. When I look at Zach Wilson, oh, my God. It's awful. He got 7 interceptions thus far. It hasn't been impressive. He's completed about 55% of his passes. All right? Even though that's around 6. Trevor Lawrence got 7 interceptions, completed 54% of his passes. But just some of the things he does, I haven't seen that from Zach Wilson yet. And I'm just saying, I'm concerned.
Okay.
I'm concerned.
Jags have lost 18 straight, hoping for a win tonight. Up ahead, the upstart Bengals off to a solid start. Tonight, they're in primetime. As I just mentioned, Burrow's future debated. Does someone on this show have a man crush? That's what I'm hearing.